The clink of crystal glasses fell silent the moment my mother raised hers at the head of the long mahogany table. The string quartet in the corner softened their melody as if sensing the shift in the air. Margaret Bennett, 68 years old that November evening, stood tall in the black designer suit I had given her the previous Christmas. Her silver hair was swept back in a severe chignon that sharpened her cheekbones like blades. She looked straight at me. 68 years on this earth has taught me one thing, she said, her voice carrying the same commanding tone that once silenced PTA meetings and charity galas. Life is too short for obligations that no longer serve us. The greatest gift any of you could give me tonight would be if my daughter finally got out of my life. The room froze. Someone's fork scraped too loudly against a plate. A woman from her book club gasped audibly. I sat there holding the edge of the tablecloth. The expensive beef tenderloin I had ordered from the city's top caterer suddenly tasting like ash. 36 years of trying to earn her approval collapsed into those 12 words spoken in front of 15 witnesses in the house I had paid to renovate after my father's death. I managed a steady voice. Happy birthday, Mom. I set my napkin down, picked up my purse, and walked out past the floral arrangements I had chosen, past the photographer who lowered her camera in disbelief, past the friends who avoided my eyes. The last thing I heard before the heavy front door clicked shut was Margaret's satisfied sigh. Now we can enjoy the rest of the evening. The drive back to my townhouse in Evanston was a blur of streetlights and suppressed fury. I gripped the wheel until my knuckles ached, replaying the toast on an endless loop. Not whispered in private. Not hinted at over coffee. Announced like a victory at the party I had planned and funded down to the vintage wine pairings. By the time I reached my kitchen, humiliation had hardened into something colder, sharper. I poured 3 fingers of my father's favorite bourbon and opened my laptop. The numbers didn't lie. Mortgage on her house, $3,100 monthly. Property taxes I covered quarterly, nearly $8,000. Health insurance, country club dues, utilities, car lease, twice-yearly trips to Arizona. Spending money. It added up to roughly $14,000 a month, close to $170,000 a year flowing one way from my accounts. I pulled 5 years of statements. Pattern clear. Money out. Gratitude never in. My name was still primary on the joint high-yield account holding $850,000, money I had built from bonuses and smart investments meant as her safety net. She had access to withdraw, but I controlled it. I stared at the balance, remembering how proud I had been the day it crossed 6 figures. How I had imagined telling Dad I was taking care of her the way he asked. The phone buzzed. Texts from guests offering awkward sympathy. The photographer saying she wouldn't post any pictures. Even strangers saw what I had refused to accept for decades. I wasn't her daughter. I was her ATM. I walked through my empty office lined with my own achievements, degrees from Northwestern, industry awards, client portfolios worth millions, none of which had ever been enough for her. I began drafting the plan on a legal pad with the same precision I used for high-net-worth clients. Freeze the joint account. Remove her as authorized user on every card. Cancel automatic payments. Change beneficiaries. Force partition sale on the house still in both names. That last bourbon burned going down as I remembered her face during the toast. Satisfaction mixed with relief. I called my attorney at her after-hours number. Miranda. It's Sophia Bennett. I need to discuss urgent restructuring. How early tomorrow? The next 2 weeks unfolded with surgical calm. Monday morning in Miranda's office. Fresh coffee, scenting the air. I laid out the financial web I had spent years weaving around my mother. She listened without judgment. Yellow pad filling with notes. Joint account is simplest. You freeze it today as primary holder. House requires more work, but everything else you can sever immediately. By noon, the $850,000 was locked. The bank manager who had known me for years processed the security hold without question. Tuesday through Thursday, I methodically dismantled years of support. Mortgage payments halted. Utilities switched. Insurance premiums canceled. Credit cards revoked. Beneficiaries changed to charities. Each action felt like cutting a rope that had been slowly choking the life out of me. My assistant noticed the shift. "Taking time off?" she asked as I boxed the single photo of my father from my desk. The one of my mother went straight into the trash. I submitted immediate leave. Weekends were logistics, movers for storage, lists of cancellations, mail forwarding to a private box out of state, new phone number, new email addresses, location services disabled. The letter took 17 drafts. Margaret, per your request at your birthday dinner, I am removing myself from your life effective immediately. All financial support ceases. Automatic payments stop December 1st. Giving you 30 days to arrange alternatives. I wish you well, Sophia.
Cold. Precise.
Notarized and sent certified. I rented a nondescript car. Staged my townhouse for quick sale. Transferred banking to an online institution she would never trace. By the second week's end, I was a ghost. 2 weeks to vanish after 36 years building the prison of our relationship. The first crack appeared 3 days after the letter arrived. I wasn't there, but Evanston's suburban gossip network moved faster than any official notice. One of Margaret's book club friends' daughter worked at Nordstrom and witnessed the scene, my mother approaching the cosmetics counter with her usual armload of luxury creams. Card declined 3 times. Secondary card suspended. Store credit card I had managed, now invalid. She abandoned hundreds in products and stormed out threatening lawyers. The mortgage company called December 2nd. Utilities followed. Insurance providers. A cascade of polite but firm notices. Payment method canceled. Voicemails began arriving on the old number forwarded to an email I checked once daily. Day 1, Sophia. Clearly a banking error. Call me at once. Day 3. This childish behavior has gone far enough. Fix it. Day 5. The mortgage company threatens foreclosure. Stop this immediately. Day 8. After everything I've done for you. Each message cycled through demands, guilt, veiled threats. Then the faintest crack of something that might have been regret. I listened from a rented cabin in the Colorado mountains. Snow falling softly outside. Her Facebook post revealed the unraveling. Miranda forwarded screenshots. Devastated by my daughter's cruelty in abandoning me at my age. Some children forget gratitude despite every advantage. She sought elder law attorneys for financial abuse. Comments split. Inner circles sympathetic. Others silent. One neighbor asked publicly why I had renovated the entire house if I was so terrible. The comment vanished quickly. By day 10, the narrative shifted. People remembered the birthday toast. Mrs. Patterson, bless her, shared the photographer's images showing Margaret's exact cruel words. Shocked guests. My dignified exit. Suburban judgment turned. The email from her hastily hired lawyer arrived next, prepared to negotiate the joint account given financial hardship. Miranda's reply was elegant. No interest in negotiation. Funds solely my client's contributions. Remains frozen per her rights. Desperation escalated. Voicemails grew frantic. The bank won't let me access our account. I have bills. Your father would be ashamed. Then, at least let me have my own money. Her own money. The phrase almost made me laugh in the quiet cabin. Panic peaked with the foreclosure notice. 30 days or proceedings begin. The house my father loved. The one I had poured money and contractors into. Now at risk. She called my old office, told I was on indefinite leave. Showed up at the townhouse only to find new owners. Hired a private investigator who hit walls. December 15th brought the voicemail that stopped me cold. From a Motel 6 near the old Dairy Queen where Dad used to take me. I know you won't answer. I'm at the motel 3 days left before I can't pay. I have nowhere else. I was wrong at the party. I've been wrong your whole life. I'm sorry, Sophia, for every cruel word, for choosing pride over you. Please, I need my daughter. The voice was small, hollow, human. The first time in 36 years, I heard Margaret sound broken. I played it twice, searching for manipulation. All I found was raw honesty I had waited decades to hear. Miranda called an hour later. She wants to negotiate. Motel manager called about her bill. She's down to $40. In stories like this, the daughter usually melts, forgives, restores everything. But this was not that story. Tell her no, I said quietly. No coverage. No negotiation. No contact. The house of cards collapsed before Christmas. Foreclosure accelerated. Second mortgage balloon payments she couldn't meet. Sheriff's sale notice posted December 20th. On the 21st, Margaret attempted $50,000 from the frozen account in person at the bank. Security escorted her out after a scene. The manager repeated the facts. Primary holder's authority. No contact information provided. She screamed about elder abuse. Theft.
Rights.
Paperwork was ironclad. Every deposit documented as mine. By December 23rd, her situation was public. Country club suspended membership. Mercedes lease in default. Friends distanced themselves when she begged for loans. $50,000 down to grocery money. An emergency book club meeting ended with her calling them fair weather friends and storming out. December 24th. 11:47 p.m. After too much wine at a hotel bar. Margaret took a curve too fast on black ice. Mild concussion. Bruises. But officers smelled alcohol. DUI arrest made local news by Christmas morning. Mugshot showed smeared makeup. Wild eyes. Hospital reached old emergency contact, me, forwarded to nowhere. She spent Christmas in county jail, unable to make $10,000 bail. Public defender tried my old firm. Janet said I was unavailable indefinitely. From jail, Margaret called lawyers who demanded retainers she didn't have. Friends who no longer answered. Distant relatives she had cut off years ago. Finally, she called my father's sister in Florida, the aunt she once dismissed as too working class. Begged. Aunt Linda later told me Margaret claimed I stole everything. Then insulted her when advised to reflect. Foreclosure auction proceeded. House sold at 60% value to developers planning condos. Margaret. Still locked up. Couldn't attend. By New Year's Eve, the woman who spent 40 years curating suburban perfection was homeless. Penniless. Facing charges. Reputation in ruins. Local paper featured the foreclosure anonymously. Comment section speculating bad investments. Addiction. Or I heard her daughter cut her off. January 2nd brought the final voicemail. Released 2 days earlier on reduced reckless driving plea. I'm at the Motel 6, 3 days left. Nowhere to go. I know I froze the account. I know it's your money. I don't deserve it. But please, just enough for a deposit somewhere. I'll sign anything.
I'm sorry.
For all of it. For every time I made you feel small. For wasting the love you gave. I've never apologized before. I'm sorry, Sophia. Heavy breathing turned to quiet crying. I understand if you can't forgive me. But if any part of you still sees me as your mother, please. I sat in my new Denver apartment watching snow on the Rockies and replayed it, searching for the trap. Only honesty remained, the apology I had waited 36 years for. Miranda confirmed the motel bill situation. I instructed one final message. The account stays frozen forever. She wanted me out of her life. That includes the money. But she is now free. Free from depending on someone she never truly valued. Free to discover who she is without my father's legacy or mine. Free to begin again at 68 with nothing but the consequences of her choices. Margaret threatened media exposure. I almost smiled. Let her explain the birthday toast, the years of support, the public rejection. The photographer's photos still existed. I opened the single photo album I had kept, the only sentimental item. Pictures of Dad teaching me to ride a bike. Our last family photo before his diagnosis. I closed it forever. One click later, the $850,000 transferred to an irrevocable charitable trust supporting women escaping abusive relationships. Every dollar documented. Distributed to shelters across the country. Donation letters framed on my new wall. She would discover it eventually when scraping for a lawyer. The money she counted on, begged for, had been given away to help daughters leave situations like mine. February in Denver felt cleaner than Chicago. I started at a smaller boutique firm, simpler, refreshing. No one knew about Margaret Bennett or the daughter who walked away. A small Chicago Tribune item appeared on LinkedIn. Former Wilmette area socialite found dead in motel room. Natural causes, heart attack. Discovered by housekeeping after 2 days. Survived by no immediate family. My hands stayed steady. Coffee didn't spill. The article noted recent financial difficulties. Predeceased by husband James. No surviving family. I walked the long way through the park that evening. Sun painted the Rockies pink and gold, colors Dad would have loved. I thought about calling Aunt Linda, but found nothing left to say. Inside my apartment, I poured Dad's whiskey. No toast. No tears. No satisfaction. Victory tasted empty, like winning a war that should never have been fought. The $850,000 helped 23 women and their children start over. 24 if counting me. Margaret's unintended legacy. Freedom for others. I filed the charity update. Turned off the lights. Tomorrow held client meetings. Building a life decision by careful decision. Tonight, I slept without old voicemails or wondering about that last call. She wanted me gone. I honored it completely. Be careful what you wish for, someone might love you enough to grant it. Even when that love arrives as consequences, as letting go, as the price of receiving exactly what was demanded. I climbed into bed. Dad's photo on the nightstand, the only remnant. I took care of her. Dad, I whispered.
Just not the way you imagined.
But in the only way that finally mattered. She died alone, wondering how a birthday wish cost her everything. Mission accomplished.